Welcome, everyone. Today, we're talking with Evey Schweig, a certified holistic health coach. I'm Mary Ellen Zung, and I've known Evey for the past 6 years after meeting while we were both training at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And we have a similar mission in our health coaching practices, and we enjoy working together. So today we'll have the pleasure of speaking with Evey and learning more about her and her work as a health coach. So as a brief introduction, Evey Schweig is a holistic health coach with a degree in biology and certified in integrated nutrition. And she's been working with clients from all over the US since 2013, serving as their personal guide to achieve more energy-filled and pain-free lives. She staunchly believes that eating nutritious whole foods and adopting a healthy lifestyle will improve health and help maintain optimal weight. And she's the author of a blog and newsletter on healthy eating and lifestyle at eveyschweig.com. And in addition to working with individual clients and leading group programs, she's a well-respected speaker in the Chicagoland area, presenting to community groups and corporations. And you can follow her on Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook. Welcome, Evey.
Well, thank you, Mary Ellen, and thank you for that lovely introduction.
Of course. So, Evey, let's start out. What exactly is a health coach?
Well, that's actually a great way to start the conversation. And it's one of the first questions I usually get when I tell people that I am a health coach, which is not surprising because health coaching is a rather new area in the health profession. But basically, I work with individuals that are looking to improve some aspect of how they look and or feel. For instance, they may have aches and pains, or they might have problems with digestion, or maybe they suffer from lack of energy, or maybe they just have a few pounds that they're really trying to lose and just can't seem to do it. They know that something is just not right, but they don't know what to do about it or how to go about doing something about it. So I guess you could say I support individuals with these health and wellness goals, first by educating them on what healthy eating really looks like and how to develop a healthier diet. But then it goes beyond that. Then I'm there to help guide them on how to do this. So success typically starts by defining a specific health goal. And as we all know, health goals can sometimes be very overwhelming, right? So I work together with my client to establish a goal, but also then to break it down into smaller steps that help encourage their improvement, that help ensure their success. And not only that, but I hold the client accountable to the goals that they set for themselves. So I like to think that I'm an educator, but I also support them. I coach them on. Much like a team coach will guide their team for success, I do the same with my clients.
Yeah. So, Evey, you're talking about goals. But I can imagine that, people come to you because they, are sort of at their wits' end. They don't know where to turn and they need help and they just don't feel right, as you said. So do they actually know what their health goal is?
So that's a really good question. And in my experience, the answer to that is no, they don't usually. And that's really where my job comes in, where, clients, as I said, don't really know what's going on. They just know that they don't feel right. Maybe they feel that they aren't eating the foods that they think they should be eating. So my job is to help them understand why they want to change. To have them really think about what it is that's motivating them to want to change. Study shows that individuals that have a very specific goal tend to be more motivated and successful. So, for example, someone might come in saying, that they want to lose weight, for instance, but really what they really want to do is, they feel like they're being sidelined because they're not as active, and they want to get back into, doing things with their friends and family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you talked about the individual client. Do you
Mm-hmm.
always work with individuals or with others, or how does that work? Just individuals,
Sure.
or?
Yeah. Well, I enjoy working with individuals, and I've developed several programs for doing that. For instance, I have my master 3-month program where it's 8 sessions where I provide the individual with a comprehensive manual that we go through and we follow. I also give them handouts. We have weekly health prescriptions that help them accomplish their action steps for each week. And it may even include an elimination diet to help them identify foods that might be causing them problems. But working with individuals is just one of the many ways that I help my clients. I do have programs. I have group programs. Sometimes they're in person in a classroom setting, say, or they could be online. But what I really enjoy is in these group programs, the interaction between the participants. People really do help support each other. They help give ideas, and it's really a great way to learn and to make changes. I've done a couple of these online programs now. I have a spring program and I have a fall program. Both of them are 5-day whole food, clean eating programs. I call them that because they're cleanses, but they utilize seasonal foods. So you're eating, there's a complete menu, complete diet that comes with it. So I do healthy eating and wellness workshops. I love doing healthy cooking demos where I might introduce a new food and help people understand how to use those foods to introduce them into their diet. The health presentations I give are throughout the Chicagoland area. They can be in community settings, as I mentioned, in schools or local communities, community groups, or in corporate settings.
Wow, that's great. It sounds like you do a whole variety of things.
Yeah, I guess I do, and I enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite?
Oh boy. No, not really. Really, I get satisfaction and something different out of every presentation and every experience that I have with a client. But what truly makes me happy is seeing people transforming their lives. That's why I got into this profession. My passion is helping others feel better by helping them eat healthier foods and adopting healthy lifestyle habits.
Great. So these healthy lifestyle habits, what does that have to do with health coaching?
It actually has a lot to do with health coaching. Many times my client comes in for one reason, maybe something to do with eating or food, and that's what they're focused on. But through our discussions, it becomes apparent that a lot of things may be going on in his or her life that might be causing stress, that might be hindering their goals. So stress actually it can have a lot to do with health and weight gain. It affects hormone levels. Your stress can affect how well you sleep. Sometimes people get so busy that they are neglecting their physical activity, and that's something very important that we talk about as well. Or perhaps this individual finds themselves needing to take care of an aging parent, or they're taking care of their children. And this amount of care that they need to give, they're not taking care of themselves. They've forgotten to take care of themselves first so that they can be healthy and strong to help others. So they're neglecting their own health needs. So we talk about that as well. So all of these factors will contribute to health or poor health and weight gain as much as a diet will. So, I like to,
Yeah.
tell my clients that, you can be eating the healthiest diet possible, but if
Mm.
body isn't ready to accept the nutrition that you're giving it because of the stress that in the body is run down, then your body's not absorbing the nutrition that it absolutely needs to function properly.
Mm.
So, what I see my job is guiding my clients towards understanding the importance of changing their habits. And as I said, recommending, ways to do this in small, easy steps. These steps are designed to make them successful. Every client that I have leaves with one or two health prescriptions or action steps
Oh,
after every session.
I like that. The prescriptions. What? So
Mhm.
can you tell us about that? Why do you call them health prescriptions?
I, I do this because in the beginning I was calling them action steps, but the reality is they are really more like prescriptions, and they function like a medical prescription because if you follow them, you will feel better and you will achieve your goals.
Mm.
The difference is, unlike medical prescriptions, you're actually taking control of your body. You're not taking a pill to maybe mask or make something feel better without getting to the root of what's going on. So the health
Mm.
prescription is geared towards getting to the root of the discomfort so that it doesn't reoccur.
Mm. Yeah, so great. Yeah, I love that. So I wanted to ask you something about what you mentioned a bit earlier about an elimination diet. What is
Mhm.
that?
Sure. Elimination diet is actually a tool that has been used for many, many years. It's a way for an individual to determine whether there are certain foods that they're eating that might be causing some of the problems that they're experiencing. Many times a
Mm.
food can actually have an adverse effect on the body in that it's causing inflammation. Inflammation is just the body's natural reaction to what it feels is an injury. And since everybody is different, different foods can have a different effect on every individual. So, one way to determine if there's a food doing this is to take this elimination diet, which will actually effectively eliminate foods that have been shown to be quite common in causing inflammation. And by removing these foods and seeing if that alleviates whatever the symptoms are that the individual is experiencing, and then introducing these foods back in to see if the conditions reoccur. It's a way to determine if maybe this is a food that the individual should be avoiding, or maybe just limiting the amount that they eat. And by doing this, you can eliminate,
Mm.
symptoms such as bloating or digestive distress or a joint pain, but it can also be
Yeah.
mood that's affected. So, anxiety and depression can sometimes be affected by the foods we eat.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah. It sounds like the process might take quite a bit of time, the whole
Well,
elimination
yeah.
diet.
It does take someone being very aware of their eating habits. It's recommended that you stay off of these offending foods for about at least 2 weeks. And then that gives the body time, as I said, to calm down and time to change.
Okay. Great. So, are there any other tools for identifying inflammation in the body?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. So, elimination diet has been used successfully, as I said, for a long time now. But recently, I have found a tool which helps my clients immediately identify a food that might be causing an inflammatory response in the body. And this is a test that has been developed by a company called KMBO. KMBO is a fully integrated medical diagnostics company. And this test is actually a pinprick blood test that you send away to the company. The company then analyzes and gives a digital printout of over 132 different foods or dyes, chemical additives that an individual might have an inflammatory response to. It's called the food inflammation test. And this allows us immediately to know what foods would be best to be avoided in this person's diet. And it allows us to design a menu plan around that and see what effect that has.
Yeah, that sounds like an amazing tool to help your clients. It really zeroes in.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. No, it is. I've had many clients that have already benefited from this test, and I started by taking it myself, and it has really helped with my digestion.
Oh, wow.
So I've been very pleased with it.
Yeah. Oh, cool. It sounds like you work with a lot of clients that might want to improve their diet and the symptoms of inflammation.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So what kind of person does well working with a health coach?
My most successful clients are those that are open to making changes in their eating and lifestyle habits. They have to be someone who's willing to try new things and just kind of be open to the concept that maybe by trying something they can make big changes. Again, as I said, the weekly health prescriptions are important, but they need to be followed. It's not easy to change, and individuals must be willing to put a little bit of effort into that. So I liken it to, if you're taking a class, and you're not going to pass the exam if you're not willing to do the homework. So it's a very good analogy, I think. But it also helps to have those clear goals that I mentioned earlier, too. I encourage my clients to actually write out those goals and post them where they can be reminded of these goals and be inspired by them.
Yeah, great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So what about your client success? Can you tell us maybe about one of your successes with a client that pops out for you?
Success. Well, yeah, just recently I had a client that came to me that was complaining about lack of energy and then a little bit of joint pain, and had a few pounds that she just couldn't seem to lose. This client was a mother of 2 young children in her mid-40s. And, it was interesting as we talked, it became clear that she was exhausted. She had just started her own business, and then she'd be working all day, coming home to take care of these 2 children and, their, evening routines. So we decided to look at her schedule and see where, of course, all of this activity was causing a great amount of stress for her. And by looking at her schedule, we identified that part of the stress came from not knowing what to serve when she came home. She was tired. She didn't have a meal plan set up. So we worked together to set up a meal plan, and she came up with a great system where she used a chalkboard in her kitchen. And every weekend she would sit down and write out a menu and write it up on the chalkboard, and so that her kids knew, and her husband knew what was coming up in the week. And she wrote out her shopping list and got some shopping done over the weekend as well, and actually did some prepping of meals for the week. And she found as she did this, things became a lot easier. Her kids, she could get her kids involved in some of the easier preps for the meals because she had all the ingredients there. She bought a slow cooker and found that on the days where she knew she was going to be especially busy, she would start the meal in the morning so that when she came home, it was already done. All of these things helped her free up her time. She actually then had time to take a little time for herself and, spend some time with calming down before bedtime, which then improved her sleep. And that, helped relieve stress too, to get a good night's sleep. So, pre-planning, welcomes this opportunity and success. She found, and for me, was her success was that she found she was able to manage her time better. She could feed herself and her family healthy meals, which in turn set a good example for them and is setting them up for a good future. She also felt energized, and she, really was enjoying the way she felt energized. She liked the way she looked and she felt. And she, as a bonus, she ended up losing about 8 pounds at the end of the program without really concentrating on that, but concentrating on those other things in her life. So,
nice.
Yeah. And that is just like, one example. Just real quickly, I had another client who was a busy executive that found that he had gained weight over the past few years and had a busy schedule. But in talking with him and looking at his eating habits, we designed a way for him to make some tweaks in his eating habits and also get some more physical activity in, because he was working so hard. He really started neglecting that. But a real key ingredient to his weight loss was that he realized that the big gulp that he was having on his way to and then again on his way home from work was really helping to add on those pounds. And by making some simple changes and some substitutions, he was able to lose, he lost about 12 pounds by the end of his program. And not only that, but he had so much more energy that he was really able to get engaged and play with his grandkids again, which was a real big goal of his.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And those are the success stories. Those things are the things that inspire me and keep me working as a health coach.
Oh yeah, I can see how that would definitely be inspiring to see that kind of change.
Exactly.
So we're just about out of time. Yeah. Is there anything else you would like our audience to know today?
I would say just that I truly believe that good eating and lifestyle habits are the real cornerstones for good health. My passion is to have others experience the health transformation that I have made by making changes in the way I eat. Cleaner eating, eliminating processed foods, getting back in the kitchen and learning how to prepare these foods. Just basically getting back to the basics. And I tell my clients, it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be radical. It just starts by, making those few first small steps.
That is great advice, great tips.
Well,
Evey, thank you so much for having us learn more about health coaching and how it all works when someone works with you.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much, Mary Ellen. Take care.